Hello and welcome back to the Arclight podcast. This is episode 9, and I'm Camryn, and I'm back from the week off that I had, and I also have Pat, who's back with me,
What's up?
and then I have Erik,
Hey
at the
yo.
table as always, and then Jimbob.
Hello.
He's being real bossy today, so watch out. But anyway, yeah, so here we are, episode 9. Looking forward to... The news flash is back. Well, it's, I guess, never really left, but actual topics to talk about now, I feel like. And then we have our two general topics. We have one that revolves around making good villains, and just villains in gaming and fiction. And then we have possible future of gaming? Big question mark?
Possible. We'll see if we get to that one.
Yeah, that's the if we have time to get to it topic, but if not, we'll come back to it. But anyway, I guess we'll start with the casual talk, as always, and this time it's going to be Jimbob who starts it, because he's been talking about how he wants to talk about something. So.
Yes, so, I didn't really get to play many games this week, but I think I'm actually going to get into a single-player game tomorrow.
Ooh.
Oh.
I think I might buy and play something I've heard really good things about. Stray.
Oh yeah. Sick. Cameron's sitting here slumping now. He was excited.
You got Cameron's hopes up.
Cameron's like,
I thought you were going to drop some next level, like, single-player game bullage that we've all been talking about so much.
no.
Hyping it up,
No.
and then you're just like, I'm going to play Stray.
Stray looks pretty cool. Pretty chill. Looks like my kind of game. So,
Go play God of War!
no. But I will be playing Spider-Man once it comes on PC. So,
Fair enough.
there
You
you go.
should also play Returnal when it comes to PC.
Well, that I've been waiting for that. Like, please, I want that so bad. That's it for me though. I didn't really get to play many games this week. Was busy doing other things. So I'm gonna throw it to Pat.
Thank you, throw me. Well, I have played Stray and I beat it yesterday, and it is a chill, cat game. It actually got a pretty decent story towards the end. And actually leaves it open-ended for possibly DLC or a sequel.
Ooh.
So
That's always exciting.
it was a cool, interesting game where you play as a cat instead of a regular person.
The
So like,
sequel, you play as a dog.
yep.
Cringe.
Other than that, I'm down bad. I'm like hopping through game after game after game, trying to figure out what the hell to play, and nothing is clicking. Except I don't know why I beat or how I beat Stray, but
Oh, I know.
I heard it's pretty short. Did you?
Yeah.
Did you feel that?
well, it took me like 3 weeks to beat it. But that's just because
The gaming slump, yeah.
just a gaming slump. But it's only like a 5-hour game.
I'll know what you'll be playing here soon, because I'll be playing it right there with you.
Yep, got my clown makeup
It's
on.
almost time for Madden.
On my way.
The Madden ride.
See, this is my time to.
Honestly,
slump.
all roads lead to Madden. Like
They
straight
always
up.
they always do. Whatever.
That's
whatever-
that's all I've been waiting for.
It's a good thing you're not playing anything, because whatever it is, it'd be dropped, because you'd be come home, get on the couch, probably send me a text. We ballin'? Question mark.
Yep.
And then
Yep.
and
Word
then
for word, we ballin'.
we ballin'? Question mark. And then it usually leads to like a 5-hour session of just us playing Madden.
Yep.
That sounds so dreadful. I
Correct.
can't even imagine.
We
dude.
don't even like half the time. Like we might get a game where we face each other in our franchise.
Other than that, it's just vibing.
Other than that, it's just vibing and us just talking football and just bullage. And then sometimes you get we ball in during the weekend at like 8 a.m. and then it goes from 8 a.m. to 12 a.m. So
I could
we go
not
through like
imagine.
7 years of a franchise.
Yeah. And then we're like,
Time to start a new one.
yeah, probably start new ones. So,
Y'all ain't making it through Final Fantasy 14 by the time.
if we could put the level of commitment that we put into Madden on the weekends,
We would have been on Endwalker.
Yeah,
by
we
now.
could.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but the Madden vibe that grabs us so. But maybe it's just the guilt of having to buy it every year.
You had to get that money's worth.
I don't know. Like,
Well, I mean, ultimately we split it 30-30 every year, except last year because I didn't have a Series X. I only had a PS5, and we didn't want to go through game sharing on PlayStation.
That's fair.
So
yeah.
we just bought it separately and played it on PS5 because he had one, and so did I. And to add to the scum that is Madden, unfortunately, the so the new features for next gen were only available on next gen, but they weren't anything that couldn't have been on last gen.
Yeah.
It was literally just like a new way to like track stats and a little bit of a different movement system. And I was like, well, we could just split the like not upgraded version on the Xbox. And then we were like, nah, let's just buy the full
Yeah,
package.
because you didn't have the Series X at the time, so that was the whole reason why we got it on PlayStation.
Yeah, but this time we'll be splitting it 30-30. Because if you look at our game collection on, like when we look at the game library, there's like 2 rows of Madden because we just buy every year.
Oh my god, I can't even imagine, dude.
It's so bad.
Disgusting.
So we'll definitely be assessing that.
I'm gonna throw it to Erik.
Oh, me next. Okay. The past week with gaming, I have been in the Pokemon brain rot once again. It's literally all I think about in my free time recently. Mainly because of the Scarlet Violet trailer that we were talking about, or we're going to be talking about here during our news flash, and all the info we got on that. So I've been playing Pokemon Unite constantly with the year anniversary, as I said last episode. I've gotten back into working on competitive teams in Sword and Shield recently again. I've been hanging out with some other friends that also play Pokemon, just chatting about Pokemon. It's truly that time of, I guess, the cycle of Pokemon games where now it's the pre-game hype.
Right.
Before either disappointment or excitement. We'll see which one. I think it's going to be more on the positive side this time around from what we've been seeing, especially just because of the multiplayer. But once again, we'll wait and see when it drops in November. But that's about all I've been doing. I've been thinking about hopping. I've been taking a little bit of a break from Final Fantasy 14. Would like to get back on. I know all you guys are thinking the same thing, as you guys have all, for one reason or the other,
I
have to
haven't
take a break
dropped
too.
the game.
Yeah,
It's just taking a break a little bit.
Yeah.
It is a lot to take in.
Because we were playing it like almost every night or every other night for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's a lot to take in for sure.
And I have to play. I have no choice. I'm subscribed. I have,
Yeah, I just got hit the feed the other day, and I'm like, I need to get back on this.
Yeah.
It'd be like that, truly.
The DOT.
It is truly a DOT to your wallet every month.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that's truly all I've been doing is just nothing but Pokemon recently. So I throw it to Camryn to finish us off for our casual talk.
No.
Oh, well, okay.
So what have I been playing? Oh, recently I've been on this, I don't know, like Game of Thrones kick or something. I think it's just the hype for House of Dragon coming out later this month. But so there's this game called Crusader Kings 2, which is a Paradox game, which is a big 4K grand strategy game where you control like a dynasty of people. And there is CK3, and I play that, and that's the newest one. Came out last year or the year before, I can't remember. But obviously, since that one's new, the modding scene isn't as big as the CK2 one. And CK2 has this amazingly in-depth Game of Thrones mod, which is essentially a game, like it's the best Game of Thrones video game ever made. So I've just been playing that. I think I was telling Pat before we started recording, my Steam counter is almost at 100 hours on CK2, but I have probably downloaded that game illegally a bunch over my life, so I'm realistically at around 300 hours in that game, and almost at 60 hours in CK3. So I've been playing the hell out of like strategy games. Just working on some D&D stuff in the background, world building out a world, and in terms of like console gaming, not much, honestly. I think I'm just kind of waiting for some other stuff to come up, like we talked about earlier, Madden, and then there is that. When's that cowboy game come out? Like September,
yeah. Evil West.
Evil West or something like that.
Cowboy game?
Yeah, it's a single player game, so you wouldn't be interested.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I'm also not super into cowboy games, so.
But
well, it's like a western, like eldritch horror.
Yeah, it's like a Weird West kind of setting.
Yeah, weird. Yeah.
We'll see.
I can't believe you hyped up like the last hour talking about you're about to start playing something and you just hit me with Stray.
See, I knew it would piss you off.
I know, so. It's so like just build me up to knock me down. That's alright, you'll be playing Spider-Man soon though, so
yeah,
then we can truly assess.
That's next week or
it's the 12th, so next week.
Yeah, next Friday.
Yeah.
Okay, and with that, we all done with our casual talk for the week? Everybody got what they wanted to say?
Casual talk. Rest in peace, Batgirl. We're just gonna leave it at that.
That's fair, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, then on that note, we are getting into our first news flash in like 3 episodes.
Truly.
We actually have a decent little bit of news. Actually, there's one I thought of that isn't even written up on our board today, so I'll start off with that just to kick it off.
News flash.
Yes.
Sony Santa Monica.
No.
Oh.
Project L from Riot Games was just recently announced to be free to play, which is funny because we were just talking about fighting games and being free to play last episode, because this is exactly what it's asking for: a traditional 2D fighting game, arcade style, free to play.
Not just any 2D fighting anime game. Arguably a pretty big branded game too. People are. It's also a 2D fighting game tag game.
So it's gonna play like Marvel vs. Capcom.
Yeah,
style.
it's gonna play like Marvel's, and people that is a hardcore like fighting game niche of people.
Yes.
So
That game's gonna blow up. Probably.
that game's gonna be huge.
I hope it comes to consoles. I hope they don't just keep it to PC.
I think it will. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the fruits of the Xbox and Riot
Oh, true.
partnership
Yeah.
with Project L. Like if you have Xbox Game Pass, guess what?
You have all the characters.
You have the whole roster.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Something like that.
That'll be neat.
And also, I kind of feel like since, I mean, I wasn't here. We weren't here for last week. Might want to give my 2 cents on the free to play game, free to play
Go
fighting
for it.
game, especially with Project L here. I feel like as long as I think free to play fighting game is just an easy marriage. I think Pat and I talked about this Saturday when we weren't here.
Yeah.
We were talking about it. I feel like the point of fighting game, the way fighting games make money and they continue to be relevant is their player base. And as long as they have a way to continuously retain players in their game, as in veterans bringing in new people, bringing back people that have left, I think it should be fine. What I don't agree with is what Multiverse has is right now is you have to unlock the entire roster for online. I feel like, because it's only like one character you have unlocked, right? At the start, Erik, if I'm not mistaken.
You technically start off with, if you do the tutorial to unlock Wonder Woman, you start off with 5.
Oh, okay.
What if you don't do the tutorial and you just jump into online?
Then you only have 4 without Wonder Woman.
Okay, well, what I was building to was, you guys touched on it last week, was having the free rotation. I think that is an amazing idea for a fighting game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, as long as your starting roster is strong enough and large enough to allow a large amount of free characters, that has to be necessary. And you shouldn't launch your game with characters that can't facilitate that need,
Right.
because you need to have enough unique characters to allow enough unique playstyles to continue to interest players. And then you just start bankrolling off the skins, the player icons, any type of cosmetic possible.
Emotes as well.
Yeah, emotes, taunts,
Shit, you can even have
stage effects, like
player character intros, like
yeah,
everything.
that stuff like that. Like that needs to get marketed the hell out of.
Windscreens, yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
splashes. But as long as you're not holding back anything gameplay wise, I think it's just such an easy, no-brainer method. And we see something like this already working with season passes for characters in a way.
Yeah.
Just think of that as the battle pass, but a little bit more complicated.
Right, I
Like
get that.
because all you're doing is, instead of buying a $20 season pass,
Oh, so like
Now-
Valorant.
yeah, so now
Yeah.
you're buying a $20 season pass that you work on through playing the game. That the character's already there, ready for you to unlock. Just play the damn game, and you have them unlocked.
Yeah, I can
So it's just a normal DLC pack with a little extra steps.
Yeah.
And as long as the developer is competent enough to maintain a updated game and keep everything rolling, I think it's easy. I think it's good, the best thing that can happen, because DNF Duel, we just talked about it today. $40 game, amazing reviews, everyone loved it. It's pretty much dead.
Yep. No plans for a season pass, it looks
Yeah.
like at the moment either.
If now this is a free to play game, not saying it wouldn't have been dead, but who knows? All the great reception it had, it probably could have carried it for at least a year.
Yeah, probably.
So I think Project L, whenever it comes out, will be the true test on free-to-play gaming, free-to-play fighting game.
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, granted, once again, it is also one of the biggest IPs in the world currently.
So it has that
so-
going for it too.
So no matter what, it will probably stick around.
I
It's like,
do bold prediction
hmm
is okay. It's not a bold prediction. Myself is. It's not a bold prediction. I take it back. I retract the bold prediction because now I'm talking myself out of it.
it's
I-
not a bold prediction.
Yeah, it is no bold prediction. Just a normal prediction.
It's an italic.
There
prediction.
is a slight possibility, maybe. Do we see NetherRealm's next game be free to play?
That's a good question.
And
It
then
could be.
for the people who do not know this, people that make Mortal Kombat and Injustice.
I know another room.
Thank you.
Well, that's for the uninformed.
See,
Yeah,
I
I
actually,
needed
I actually was just talking about this with Zach. I think literally like either yesterday or the day before, with a game like Project L, where you have this massive franchise with a ton of characters that you can pick from, and if you know whatever you pay for, you trickle in characters over time or whatever. I'd be willing to see. I could see some of the bigger fighting game companies, like you said, like NetherRealm, but I could see like Capcom jumping on that. I mean, they have so many different fighting game, like old school games, that they could
Yeah.
just pour multiple characters in a Marvel vs. Capcom style game without the Marvel characters, of course,
Yeah.
'cause that wouldn't happen. But they could have a game like that just with like hundreds of Capcom characters already ready to go.
Oh yeah.
There's so many SNK
So
could do it with their
You
fighting
mean like
games.
just take like a old school Capcom game and then just make it like Smash Ultimate essentially with like everyone is here.
I wouldn't say exactly old school. Like, of course, make it modern to an
Oh, okay.
extent, but like you could touch on these fighting games like Darkstalkers and stuff that haven't been around in years now, but you put them in this free to play game that where hey, did you like this character like 20 years ago? You're still gonna love them now. You can go ahead and
Yeah.
unlock them in this
Yeah.
game.
Oh yeah.
I think free to play fighting game is an idea that is going to be kind of around for the next couple of years. I think free to play anything is going to be around for the next couple of years. So,
Oh yeah. No.
I'd
Whether that's
be
a good or a bad thing.
It'd
we'll
be
see.
nuts if Mortal Kombat 12 was free to play. That'd be insane. Especially with how Mortal Kombat 11 sold insanely well.
Yeah, I would
Like
doubt.
insanely well.
But it wasn't as good as 10.
No, it wasn't. Well,
What?
first of all, both of them not as good as 9.
Oh yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
just say that. So, Mortal Kombat 9 was, whew, whew.
Pat, you were about to say something?
Yes. I mean, I guess it could be free because like how. I mean, I haven't played the newest MK games, but how different are 9, 10, 11 from each other
Well,
in terms of actual
10
gameplay?
and 11 are very different from 9 because they have the variant, like the multiple fighting styles.
Oh, okay.
Like each character has like a different fighting style.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah.
like, it alters like the move set and stuff like that. And there's also a big emphasis on the Injustice 2 gear system in Mortal Kombat 11 being like certain gear pieces you slot into your character also change moves and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I don't
okay.
think that is relevant in online. I don't know. I don't. My knowledge of Mortal Kombat 11 is very low. Besides that, it sold well and the story mode. So
Yeah, basically Mortal Kombat 10 and 11 kind of continue with the retcon that happened with 9's like time travel
Yeah.
junk. It kind of like follows in that, so it goes into deep future after
Yeah,
all that stuff with like descendants of certain characters.
by
Like,
the end of Mortal Kombat 11, spoilers, Liu Kang has replaced Raiden as
Yeah.
Protector of Earthrealm,
Oh, okay.
and not just Protector of Earthrealm, but also like the Keeper of Time,
yeah,
and he resets the timeline, like completely.
That's at the end of 11.
Yeah,
yeah. So we're gonna see what 12 entails at this point.
I mean,
And,
that could, shit,
and-
you could spin that to start a new
yeah.
like,
I
era
think
for MK and then make it free
I think
to
that's
play,
I think that's the goal. Is I think we're gonna kind of start seeing the Street Fighter kind of vibe where there's some legacy characters, but there's like mostly new characters now.
I could see that. Yeah.
And this is actually, it's funny we're talking about Mortal Kombat because Pat and I just watched the original Mortal Kombat movie Sunday after we got done drinking. So
Yeah, that movie was good.
yeah, I mean that's what I've been saying. That's why I said I think that's the best video game movie.
That's a topic for another day.
I mean, I said that when we talked about video game movies a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, but we talked about bad ones. We could definitely talk about the good ones at some point.
There isn't many.
There's not many, but there are a few that are like,
And the
even if
top-
they're not technically good, they're
Yeah, so
fun to
Mortal
watch.
Kombat the movie is not technically a good movie. It's just really fun.
Yeah, I was about to say.
It's I think it's very faithful.
Yeah, and unlike the new one, it uses the Mortal Kombat theme song. So
True.
Sheesh.
Okay, now that we got off on that whole tangent, let's
Yeah,
get back
I mean,
to the
we weren't here
scheduled.
for the free to play talk, so I had to get that in there.
Oh no, absolutely. No, I get that. I was just
Like
saying.
I was in my car listening to it, like, man, I'd be popping off right now. 'Cause I got some really good ideas about this.
Yeah, no, I definitely think it was a neat little discussion that I'm sure we were going to have either way at some point.
Oh yeah.
I just didn't think the Project L thing was going to completely pop off into that just now.
I forgot all about it. You said something, so
Yeah, I didn't think about it till like we were really sitting down and starting the recording. But let's go on to our scheduled news flash stuff now. First one being that new Pokemon Scarlet and Violet trailer that dropped with the Pokemon Presents this week on Wednesday. I will say once again with the Pokemon brain rot currently going on where it's all I'm thinking about. I really liked what I saw. There's not a lot that was shown, but the stuff that was there's a lot of really neat stuff that it looks like for the competitive scene with the terrorizing factor, even though it looks awful. Like animation-wise, the terrorizing looks kind of dumb. But the actual gameplay mechanics behind it are pretty sick. The open world is, as we've seen outside of the trailers recently, the open world is way bigger than we thought it was going to be. Like, it's going to be massive. I'm excited to see what all Pokemon come back, because we saw with this new trailer a lot of old Pokemon that haven't been in the games in years, like Donphan and Pineco are back. So that's going to be super neat to see some of those old boys back.
I'm an enjoyer Don fan.
But all in all,
these are all new Pokemon names to me. I've never heard of any of these.
some of these are from like Gen 2, Camryn.
Donphan's been too.
Look, Pokemon, very casual. Very
That's
casual
fair.
enjoyer. I wouldn't even say fan.
Yeah, that's fair. But once again, as they showed off more of with this trailer, which was like my biggest concern is what I want to keep seeing more of until it actually comes out to make sure that it's exactly what we think it is. They showed more of the multiplayer stuff, and it looks like it's promising. I thought it was going to be like they're going to drop the ball somewhere with this multiplayer, but it still seems like it's still open world completely. You and your three buddies, all four of you together in an open world session, just run around, do whatever you want. Don't even have to do it together. You can just do it separately, which is super neat.
And seamlessly trade and battle seamlessly, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm.
I don't know.
It looks really Breath of the Wild-esque
Mm-hmm.
in a way, and I'm scared of that. I don't know if that's a good thing for the Pokemon series, but I'll
I think it's
I'll
what
definitely
Pokemon
be giving
needs.
it a try.
I think
I think it's gonna bring a new breath to the franchise,
Yeah.
but I don't know if everyone's gonna enjoy it.
Oh, yeah, we'll see for sure.
I think when it comes to this map size and them trying to tackle this big open world thing, for one, I just have no faith in Game Freak being able to accomplish it.
Oh, yeah. I agree.
And then two, I get the vibe from this Pokemon that it's definitely going to be quantity over quality. Like, so sure, there's all these biomes, but ultimately, am I just like, what's the quality of said biomes?
Well,
Like-
they did actually talk a little bit on that outside of the trailer. The website got updated with a lot more details. One thing that's neat is there's going to be actual Pokemon interactions in the wild now. Like they straight up said in the blog post for the new Wooper, which is a poison ground type, by the way. They said that that Pokemon that are around the Wooper's territory, when you fight them in battle, they might be poisoned just because there's toxic everywhere in a Wooper's home territory. So now you can just find random wild Pokemon that are just poisoned if you're in that area. So there's Pokemon interactions, which are super neat. It makes the world feel a little bit more alive than it used to.
This is again kind of gives me the same vibe that Arceus and Sword and Shield gave off, where it's like this just feels like another layer of a foundation for a bigger Pokemon game like 5 years from now.
I disagree. I think Sword and Shield with the little raids that you could do in there, Arceus with the open world bit, and it was all collective into this, and
So you think this is what they've been building towards?
I think this is the test run for it. And if this drops, they're gonna go back to the formula of linear Pokemon games. One thing, the Breath of the Wild-esque, like, you don't have to do the gyms in any certain order.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, like, as you beat gyms, are the other gyms, and as you level up, are the other gyms gonna like scale with you?
They haven't really
that's what I was
said that.
wondering
They would have
earlier
to.
when I was
Yeah,
saw
because
that.
they would have to.
Because
You know what
what's
I mean?
stopping me from going to arguably the hardest? So are areas, or here's another one, are just biomes in general going to scale with you?
Yeah,
Because if I can go right to, let's say, like a winter biome, is this biome going to be a good starting area for me, or do I have to level back at
Well,
the town.
Arceus
no-
was kind of like that, where it had Pokemon that were like way higher level, and you shouldn't be in that area.
But then also
But then,
they had like
okay,
lower
so
levels.
so then
Yeah,
is it
yeah,
open
yeah.
world then? Because you're basically telling me I can't be in this area.
I
Not
mean,
to
that's the way it is with
mention-
every open world game. Like Skyrim, there's areas you shouldn't be in right off the bat, but you can still walk into them.
Well,
Yes and no.
No, yes,
Yes
it's absolutely
and
yes. You
no.
can straight up walk to like fucking the top of the map and get killed by almost anybody in there if you're in your basic starting gear, your level whatever character. It's
Sure.
I think that's just the way open
Sure.
worlds work. The farther you are from the start, the harder it's gonna get, I think.
but I believe there's like a scaling mechanic of like if you go back to the start and do some of the early quests that it scales with you, isn't there? Like,
I don't
I don't
some
know.
of the joggers,
I've never tried that, so I don't know.
Yeah.
scale
Well,
up.
I know. I think you are correct on starting areas scaling.
Yeah, so
um,
like what they said, there's 3 like storylines.
Right.
One of them
What-
being the gym battles.
One
what are
being
the
the gym
other two?
battles.
And the other one being the adventure hunt
I'm-
or what a treasure hunt.
It'll matter like what the other 2 are.
I think the other.
if
I think
it'll be good.
I think one of them will probably be the generic whatever the evil team is this time
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
And then the other one might be like a big like legendary thing or something, like another like, because with them saying we basically get the 2 legendaries right off the bat for travel and stuff, I don't think we're gonna be able to battle with them right off the bat. I think that's gonna be something we get throughout the games. Like maybe a certain part of one of the stories will allow you to actually use them in battle.
See, that's one thing about Pokemon games that I'm like, I like. In this one, you're specifically, I'm the protagonist. I have the like
Yeah, you have the legendary right
legendaries
off the bat.
That's something I've always liked about Pokemon games, where like you're not the protagonist off the bat. Like you build up to that.
Well, I think even in this case, once again, if it's going to be one of those situations where you can't battle with them right off the bat, I don't think it's going to feel all that weird.
Are you ever really a protagonist in Pokemon stories though? I
mean,
don't know. Like, are you? Because I feel like I always get the vibe like you're just some kid who wants to be a trainer
that's
who
what I'm
ends up
saying.
getting swept up in this,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
thing.
you build up to,
and then by the
being
end of
this
it, you're just like a
protagonist,
really
I think.
good trainer.
yeah,
Like you're just a really good trainer, and you have all the badges, and you're just cool.
Yeah, I guess
you know.
we'll just have to wait and see what the stories are as we get more info on those.
My, it's like all this stuff. If you would have told me this was gonna be a Pokemon game like 7 years ago, I'd be like, what? This is gonna be sick.
Yeah.
And then we're here, and I'm looking at it, and I'm just like, this looks. I don't know. It just feels underwhelming to me. But then again, not that really big into Pokemon, so I don't know. It just feels like a lot of like we're finally getting the ideas everyone's wanted, but it just feels like such a entry level. Like they're not committing. Like
Right.
we're talking about there's multiplayer, but in reality, all it is going to be we're all in the shared game world. Not even shared. It's the hostess game world, right?
I don't know on that.
Yeah, we
They
don't know
haven't stated
nothing
that
about
yet.
this multiplayer. That we're all just in it together. Doing what exactly? Just leveling our Pokemon together?
Leveling, you guys can progress story.
How's
from what I
that?
understand.
How's that no different than from when a bunch of people get together and play the game separately on their Switches in the same room?
I mean, true, but I'm sure there'll be some interactions and stuff. They've already shown like there's emotes and stuff.
Emotes,
there's-
photo mode, but
yeah.
like
I'm sure there's gonna
I
be
don't know. I just feel like
interactions.
there's more. There should be more to it.
And there probably
you know,
is.
That's
I would
kind
hope
of the
at
vibe
least.
I'm getting. Like it feels like such a one step forward, like half a step forward into the multiplayer. Because Sword and Shield was the half step doing the raids.
yeah.
Now we're the full step in,
Yeah.
and it's like I just feel like this is like I said earlier. This is just another block into this foundation that they're trying to get to with a bigger Pokemon game, and I'm starting to wonder like. I just don't think Game Freak cares enough to keep doing it. I really don't think they do.
I do think I had to agree on that. I think
Because
Game
there's
Freak has
no
been...
Do you think this is
for
gonna be-
every innovation, it looks the same. How can you constantly say you're innovating on the game, but it looks it feels like this is about to be a hot take that I'm sure someone's gonna say to me, but it kind of feels like I'm looking at Madden. Like you keep talking about features getting added to the game that I feel like ultimately it won't matter in a couple years. I don't know. That might be a hot take. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting. Coming off talking about Madden
I mean,
and hearing about how features are getting added, and it's like
I don't
ultimately,
disagree.
do you see where I'm coming from?
I even see where you're coming from to an
Like
extent.
it ultimately feels like everyone talks about how Madden's a yearly release
Mm-hmm.
and it's barely adding content. Really, let's think about Pokemon. I mean, sure they're adding new Pokemon to the game, which I guess is the basis of the content, but they're also reusing a bunch of stuff from every other game before it. And now they're just saying, oh, now it's open world. And you can play with your friends.
Yeah, which I mean, granted, it doesn't sound like a lot.
$60, please.
Yeah, which once again, granted, it sounds like it
doesn't sound like a lot, and it doesn't look like a lot.
But
to me personally,
to a big Pokemon fan like me, who's been struggling with some of these more recent games. Granted, I say struggling, but I spent like 300 something hours in.
Yeah,
Pokemon
we just
Shield.
saw that player count. We just saw the hour counter.
That most of that was breeding for shiny Pokemon.
Like, explain to me, Eric, why you're excited for these two Pokemon games. What makes these two Pokemon games like? Oh, I'm gonna spend another 400 hours in this game.
I think the biggest thing right off the bat, if I had to really state, as someone who spends a lot of time with Pokemon games, the first time we ever saw a glimpse of actual like real-time multiplayer with Pokemon was actually back on the DS. Black and White had a feature where like your friends could join your lobby, but they were just kind of like ghosts. You couldn't interact with them, right? They just kind of walked around with you. There wasn't anything you could do with them. It was weird, but it was still like there's something there. It's just the feeling of having your friends run around with you. You can watch them battle. You can do all this stuff.
Well, in Diamond and Pearl as well, there was those like mines.
Oh yeah, the underground. Yeah, but that was still not like it was a separate area. You couldn't do anything with the like. It was still
a lot more
you couldn't
seamless.
battle there or anything.
Yeah.
Like with this, it was still like I was running around with my friends. We could still play the game separately and enjoy ourselves, catching Pokemon, doing whatever. But it was also weird because we couldn't interact with each other. And then this feature disappeared for years. They just completely dropped it. It wasn't in X and Y. It wasn't in Sun and Moon. Sword and Shield kind of somewhat brought it back with the weird like online that's like open ended where you just have a bunch of randos in your open world areas. But there still wasn't really interactions. There was just, hey, I can talk to them. They give me a generic dialogue and they give me like an item, which was very strange. But it was still like, okay, they're testing the grounds again. I see it. But now, for the first time since Black and White on the DS, we're seeing an actual multiplayer where it's like your friends join your lobby. You're able to run around with your friends, but this time it looks like there's interactions. You can openly battle and trade here. You guys can all run around and interact with the world together in the same world, and it affects the world. Like the joke I've been making with a lot of friends online is, hey, yeah, we could literally just all hop on Discord after work on a Friday and have like fishing Fridays where we just sit down in a certain area of the map and just all fish for hours while we're just big chatting. I think for me, outside of it just being another fun Pokemon game experience for me where I'm going to eventually end up breeding for a competitive team so I can bully my friends and stuff like that. I think outside of that, it's just going to be the fact that I can just kind of chill in the Pokemon world with some friends. I think it's the biggest draw for me, really.
I feel you.
Yeah.
It's definitely a thing of like we're definitely gonna see to believe if it's good once it comes out.
Yeah, because there's like no details on
Now-
what is the extent this multiplayer mode's going to take in the game.
Now, hear me out. I don't think they would ever do this, but do you know how well like a Poke MMO would be? Like
So-
with every single world they've done.
I feel like that's what this is building up
I was
to.
just
though.
thinking.
I was just
like,
saying that too,
I was
like-
I was just thinking when Erik was talking about that stuff was ultimately like I feel like it would be cool to have like a Pokemon MMORPG, and then I'm thinking, well, what more could you really do than what we're thinking about you can do in this?
Well, hear me out. You could have all the regions.
Okay, and then you would do what in these regions? You would just
play the normal.
hey,
games
let's
and then,
party up,
you
and
know.
I'm gonna go catch Pokemon over here, and you can also come catch Pokemon over here.
Yeah, and then you could also
They'd be like-
as well like
Well, each one
have
has their
a-
own gym set of gyms.
and then you can
go
have
through
like
that.
a universal bad.
It'd be cool if like
big
it'd be
bad.
cool if the gyms have like a multiplayer aspect to them where it's like, if you go in with a party, they now become 2v2s or 4v4s
Oh, yeah.
in the gym,
Ooh,
and then
4v4 Pokemon
and-
battles.
and then
That'd be interesting.
and then the gym leader at the end is just 1v4, but their Pokemon are like beefed up.
super scale.
It's like a raid battle. Type
Yeah,
thing like we
that would
currently
be
have.
cool.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting. That would give you an incentive to go do gyms together.
And there's the
Yeah.
whole PvP aspect where there could be like this giant summit where a
Mhm.
bunch of trainers go to.
Yeah, there could
Oh,
could be like there could be a big PvP area where at the top of the mountain, guess who's there? The best player in the world.
I was just
Best
thinking
team.
about this. Since
That
you
would be
brought up,
nuts.
Since you brought up the multiplayer battles, they actually did test the waters with that a little bit with the Let's Go games, where if you had a second player playing the game with you, you each sent out a Pokemon, and it would turn it into a double battle if the opponent had more than more than one Pokemon,
I see.
or you could just bully the one Pokemon they had. It was kind of funny.
See, now that idea right there sounds interesting.
So I wonder if maybe they'll bring back that feature for Scarlet and Violet, and we'll see it maybe a later update.
Can you play through these 3 story modes together in the game?
We'll have to figure that out.
With the multiplayer, they should, but knowing Game Freak,
it won't.
We'll see.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, but that'd be sick to think about it. You go to this area where you know it's PvP oriented, and it tells you like, hey, this is the top ranked player in your region right now. You can go battle him, and it feels like you're going against like a legendary trainer.
oh yeah.
See, now that has potential. That's a drive for like a trainer to want to, like a player / trainer to want to get better at the game, because they want to be on that scoreboard listed as, when you enter the region, ding ding ding.
Yeah.
You know, Erik is the most like strongest trainer in your region.
Which they
go
did,
battle him here.
They did with Sword and Shield actually for the first time ever add a ranked mode to the game. There was ranked in Sword and Shield. And I'm sure that's going to return for Scarlet and Violet at the very least. So even if you can't see these other players like officially, because you know it's servers more than it is like, or instances I should say, rather than like open servers with a ton of people like an MMO, I'm sure the ranked will still be there. And that's still a fun time, though, to me.
Imagine it's like big events in the world where you log in, and it's like, come to the Coliseum or come to the gym. There's going to be this player versus this player at the gym.
That would
and
be
you
pretty
get to
neat,
spectate
yeah.
it and watch them watch them fighting and using Pokemon moves. And then next thing you know, you're like Brock from the show, watching them and commenting, and I don't know. But see, that sounds sick to me.
See, this is almost getting into our future of gaming
Yeah,
topic at this
we're
point.
getting a little bit ahead of ourselves, because that would be
Sick.
That would be sick. I would play the hell out of that Pokemon
Will
game.
we ever see that?
Because
Bold
then,
prediction? No.
and then you don't even have to. You can be in the world, but not even be a trainer. You could be. There could be other aspects that you could use Pokemon for.
So now you're talking
yeah.
like an actual true MMO, like
Yeah,
Final
true
Fantasy, where you could be
MMO,
like a crafter or a merchant or something like
join
that.
Team Rocket.
Future,
and then
yeah. There's like a
steal
whole like
Pokemon.
future. Yeah, you can steal people's Pokemon. Like the one game we talked, Battle Coliseum, I think it's called, or whatever.
Pokemon Coliseum and Pokemon
Yeah,
XD Gale of
yeah.
Darkness, yeah.
We just made Camryn a Pokemon fan again, so...
When that game comes out, hit me up.
So,
I'll have Salk with me the whole time.
I was about to say, I know I told Pat when he walked in earlier today. I don't think I said anything to Jimbob or Camryn. So Andrew and I have been joking about this for years, actually, and it's something that Scarlet and Violet has somehow sparked in us that we're actually going to attempt to do it next year if it's reasonable to do. We actually want to go to the Pokemon World Championships. Whether we actually play it or not, we at least want to go. I mean, anybody can sign up for them. It's not like you have to be like a respectable player or anything. And the fact that we constantly build these competitive teams, we're like, we could sign up for Scarlet and Violet and maybe like
That'd be
Unite or
wild.
something. You know, get a team for Unite to show up. Maybe play some Pokken. Like we play all these Pokemon games.
That'd be wild. That'd be cool.
So it's something
I wouldn't
that-
participate, but that'd be cool.
yeah, I was about to say, you know, we could be like, hey, one of us actually made it far enough to be on stream. Check it out. We're actually battling on stream. You know, something like that. It'd be neat. I doubt that would actually happen, but I think this Pokemon hype is just crazy that I think to really explain it even to a more baser level than just the fact that I'm excited for multiplayer, I think it's just Pokemon, true, like, hardcore Pokemon fans like myself are just, we've been dealing with these scraps for so long that even these, like what seems like they should only be minor advancements because every other game in the world has already done all these things, because we've been dealing with bare bones Pokemon games for so long, these small improvements really feel that much bigger to us, I think.
Sounds like me and
Oh,
Pat
yeah.
when we get new Madden features every year.
Honestly, dude, call me a clown, call me a fool, but I don't even care. If we just got standard Pokemon games every year, I wouldn't even care, as long as we got new Pokemon.
I think I kind of feel that.
I'm calling you a
Pat.
fool.
Whatever. I mean, if we get new if I just like the what is it?
I feel
the flow
like
of these Pokemon games. I
that
just like
standard,
how they are.
That standard I feel like was acceptable back when they were still doing 2D pixel art.
I think I agree with Camryn on this one. As
Yeah.
much as I weirdly somewhat agree with Pat, where I'd like to have Pokemon more frequently, but at the same time I would also like better quality.
Because now you've entered, like, you're entering. I mean, you were already part of the big league, but now it's like, okay, now you're stepping out onto open world RPG, and it's like, I don't know. I think you can get away with only adding new Pokemon every year.
For so long.
For 2D games and stuff like that. But once you're talking about massive open world, it's no linear, go do whatever you want. And meanwhile, like you said, you're looking at Breath of the Wild, one of the arguably people would argue one of the greatest games ever made.
You wouldn't.
I would not argue that, but most people I know would. and it's like you're going to be drawing direct comparison, and you can't hold up. You literally cannot hold up. You can't look at anything and be like, no, yeah, Pokemon does that better. Well, it's completely different types of gameplay, so let's retract that statement. But
yeah, one of them is like an action
yeah,
adventure,
but
the other one's
still,
an RPG.
it's like you're entering the same domain.
Oh yeah, absolutely, we're getting there.
And also, one looks noticeably better, and one has noticeably probably way more budget to spend.
Yeah,
and it's Pokemon.
The Pokemon company makes way too much money for us to be having this conversation.
They do, and they know it. And honestly, is it time for Game Freak to give it up? I'm gonna say it. I think so. I think let someone else take a crack at it.
I think the issue with that is I believe they also hold a decent portion of the shares for Pokemon at this point.
If that's the case, then it's time to really start getting wild with it. Bring back the Gale Force, the Dark Force thing, where it's like,
yeah,
bring back something. Wait, when's the last time a Mystery Dungeon's come out?
The 3D. No, well, they technically remade the original Red Rescue Team and Blue Rescue Team.
Let's bring back some of this weird shit in Pokemon. Like, this goes back to one of our early topics: is what games do you want to see step into different genres?
Yeah.
I'm ready to start seeing some new genres in Pokemon.
They used to do it all the time. Like one of my favorite games of all time is Pokemon Conquest, where it was on the DS, and it was made by Koei because it had the characters from like Nobunaga's Ambition in it,
right,
but it was a tactics game with the Pokemon. It was really neat. I loved it to death. One of my favorite. I spent hours on that game, and we've never seen anything like it since. It's kind of upsetting. It was a tactical-based, grid-based game, but it had the type advantages. Pokemon could learn different abilities with different ranges and stuff. It was really neat. It was a good time.
Speaking of tactics, maybe we should probably move on to our next topic.
We have spent a lot of time on this one.
That's actually a good segue.
Call that a segue.
Yeah. Pat,
is that what we call it?
I won't.
You call it something.
Well, Erik, I'll leave this one to you.
Okay, yeah, this has been something that I've brought up a couple times over the past like month or two, because there's always been these little like teases, these little drops of it. Like PlayStation has leaked this thing twice in a row now, but we still never got an official announcement. But as of this week, Camryn hit me up Thursday morning.
Yeah, super like early 7 a.m.
Yeah, it's like Thursday morning. Camryn hits me with Ayo Tactics, and I was like, "What?" He's like, the Tactics Ogre trailer finally officially dropped. And I was like, oh, hold up. And man, Tactics Ogre Reborn is an actual real game. I mean, granted, we knew it was real because PlayStation has listed it like twice by accident now. But it's coming out in November. It's a upscaled, remade version of the PSP version of Tactics Ogre. And with that news, outside the game itself being fantastic already, and I'm excited to sit down and play through it when it comes out in November. I believe it's coming to PlayStation 4, 5, and Switch. Probably PC as well if it's on all those. I didn't see a PC listing though. But with them porting the PSP version of that means not too far behind, hopefully, will be Final Fantasy Tactics War of the Lions, which was the PSP enhanced version of the original PS1 game. Hopefully they'll just do the same thing. They'll do like an upscaled port with some new features and stuff of Final Fantasy Tactics War of the Lions. And when that comes out,
gaming,
someone's playing it with me. I don't care who it is. Someone else has got to sit down and actually play the game.
I'm surprised that wasn't like a back-to-back announcement, because you know it's coming.
Yeah, it's coming at this point, especially because, as I'm sure a lot of gamers have heard,
Shadow dropped.
Yeah,
that would have been a wild game to Shadow drop.
As a lot of people know, there's been this leak that's been here since like 2020. The Nvidia leak. It was a massive leak where apparently like the Nvidia servers got raided, and people found this list of games that Nvidia was like working on compatibilities for way back when. And over the past couple of years, I think it's safe to say at least over half the games now have been confirmed or have released at this point. And one of the games on there was the Tactics Ogre remake. And they also have listed Final Fantasy Tactics Remake, which means at this point, it's coming. It's absolutely coming. We just got to wait to see. When, I guess, is the correct term there. We got to see when. Okay, now I'm done nerding over my Tactics game.
It looks fun. I'll try it. I'll buy it. Cause
you know what's wild? It's coming out on 11/11. You know what was supposed to come out on 11/11?
Huh?
Starfield.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
So, there you go.
Yeah, I definitely think it's going to be a neat game. Once again, as hype as I am for this one, I'm going to be popping off way more when it is Final Fantasy Tactics officially getting announced.
You know what was also on the NVIDIA leak?
Hmm.
Final Fantasy IX remake.
There's a lot of rumors that's still coming because we got an announcement for a cartoon for Final Fantasy IX over in Japan, which is probably be an anime, but yeah, so we already got 9 stuff in the works. I would not be surprised to see a remake at this point. But yeah,
As long as it's not 10. 10's boring.
damn, Pat's gonna be pissing off a lot of people with that
I said it.
I'll be getting a text about that.
But with my little rant on tactical games over here, this is Jimbob's time to
It is my
shine.
time.
The Mario Kart Minute.
Mario Kart Minute. So, as some people may know, the DLC Pack 2 just dropped for Mario Kart. And with that, dropped 8 new maps. One in each cup is a tour map again. And they actually made a brand new map that I'll talk about in a second here. But tour maps, again, were pretty bad, in my opinion. Didn't like them that much. Some people like them, but the maps that were really good was the Calamari Desert from the N64 that came back. Absolutely amazing. They changed up the map a little bit to where you actually drive through the tunnel, which was really cool, in my opinion, and probably in everyone's opinion. And then there's the Waluigi pinball map from the DS that came back.
There we go.
Absolutely amazing. There's the Game Boy Advance's Snowland that came back. Very good. It was a little weird. The boxes move a lot. It's something that you'll definitely have to get used to. But this new map, it's called Sky High Sunday. There's only 2 maps in the game, in the base game, that are in all zero gravity, and it's the F-Zero maps.
Yeah.
Which are mostly downhill. So it doesn't feel too crazy. This map is in zero gravity, and you go uphill, like, obviously half the time, because it's a linear map, like, you go 3 laps.
Right.
It feels like dog shit. Just driving it does not feel good. I'll have to play it a lot more, but I played it in 150cc and 200cc, and it does not help. It's so floaty and does not feel. It feels like original N64 Mario Kart, and that is not a good thing, in my opinion.
Once again, one of those games that was like, for its time, it was amazing, but it's time to realize it didn't age well.
Hot take from Jimbob. I hate the driving in N64 Mario Kart. Everything else I love about that game. The driving is bad. But there was a possible leak. I haven't confirmed this, but when it first dropped and you updated your game, all the other and unfinished DLC maps, you could see like where they were from.
Okay.
And it looks like there's tour maps for every single cup again.
Yeah.
Going forward, and that is not a good thing in my opinion. I'm not a fan of any of the tour maps in Mario Kart. They just are. I'd rather see maps from other games come back. But that's my Mario Kart Minute. It's my little rant. And I think we can move on to topic 1 here.
Topic 1, finally. Let's see here.
This was a big Camryn's topic, so.
Topic 1 is the topic 1 is just villains. As in villains from any type of fiction, be it game, movie, anime, manga, TV show, whatever. And then the first little subtopic is, what are some of your guys' favorite villains? Bosses, stuff of that nature. I'm gonna throw it to Pat first.
Oh man.
Cause I knew you were in thinking mode, so I wanted to.
So we're talking about
Just favorite villains.
favorite
or
villain or
bosses.
like favorite boss?
Either or.
Well, if it's boss, Pat's gonna throw out some wild from some boss that
so
no one else
we're
knows.
talking about like
We're talking like a true like narrative villain.
Okay,
in the
narrative
story.
villain.
Yeah.
For one that comes to my mind in terms of a narrative villain, is in the Red Dead games. There's Dutch Vanderlyn of the Vanderlyn gang.
That's a good one.
I think he does a really good job of like bringing out like the worst qualities of like the protagonist, but like making the protagonist, well, be it John or Arthur, like kind of push through those and like progress his character. I think that's what makes a good villain, is someone who provokes the character that way.
So I'm not going to disagree with you, but my point of making a good villain is I feel like a good villain has to be a villain not only to the protagonist, but in general. Right. More so in general. So my villain that I picked is the big boss of Team Rocket in the original Pokemon games.
Giovanni.
I
see.
It's
pretty sick.
He's just
I did not expect that pick from you.
You also didn't expect Stray.
Yeah.
I did not.
Just a big bad villain, big corporate bad, esque kind of thing going on. And the fact that
Jimbob was anti-corporation.
Yeah, anti-corporation, anti-America. Big pharma bad. But yeah, just he's not a villain that is quote unquote antagonizing the protagonist.
Right.
But he's just being an antagonist.
Just being evil.
Yeah.
just being a schmuck.
That's my take.
Villains, okay. So one of them I was looking to talk about, sadly, Camryn, Pat, and now Jimbob haven't gotten far enough into Final Fantasy XIV for me to be able to talk about one of them. So I'm going to go ahead and just straight up say it is going to be, I believe, the main villain. It's been a while since I've played this expansion, but the main villain of Stormblood is my favorite villain. I will not say anything about who they are. I will not say anything about what they are like. But I will say it's like a 50-50 controversial that I like him so much as one of my favorite villains. Because a lot of people in the Final Fantasy community, you either love him or you hate him. But I love him, and it's probably just because I have easy brain. Because my two favorite villain types...
brain.
I have two very, very specific villain types that get me going that are complete opposites. The first one is... absolutely no kind of backstory, nothing major, just I'm here to destroy the world, I'm here to kill you, I'm here to do whatever. Nothing else matters. That's all they want to do. They want to kill you, they want to destroy the world, there's no actual meaning behind any of it. Just give me a villain that is bad, let me go kill him. AKA like old Final Fantasy stuff, where it's like they're just there to be there. Like Chaos just wants to destroy time and everything in existence. You know, like that's what I like in a villain. Number one. But on the opposite side, I really, really like the villains that started off really, really good. Maybe they didn't even really want to be a villain, but due to life circumstances or some kind of like societal disagreement or something, they try to go their own way and still try to somewhat be a good person, but it paints them as a villain and they're now a villain. AKA, my favorite villain so far of everything I've seen from My Hero Academia is
Stain.
No, well, Stain is a good one too. He fits that bill pretty well as well because he's a villain, but it's because he doesn't think any of the heroes are good.
Yeah, Vayne is.
You're talking about Shigaraki?
No, my favorite villain, who should have never been a villain from the start, it's just due to a tragic life events, was gosh, I can't think of.
The Gentleman?
Yeah, the Gentleman. I can't think of his actual name.
I hated that arc.
I knew Camryn was going to say something.
That's my favorite arc because it's him as a villain is so good because he doesn't even really want to be it's just kind of where life put him, and now he's stuck in it. But he's doing it for good reasons. He's like, I'm doing this to like shill out these massive corporations. I'm doing it to prove a point to the man.
I feel that.
And then like even when it comes to like his big thing in My Hero where he was like, I was literally just trying to infiltrate the school just to show I could do it, to show that I'm a good villain. I wasn't even going to hurt anybody. I wasn't going to do anything. I was just going to show up. And then like, God, it's such an emotional bit in My Hero when he's like, when he's even sitting here and he's like, Deku's gonna get in trouble if he's caught here with me when I get caught. And he straight up sends him away. He's like, see ya, nerd. Get out of here. And turns himself in at the ending of that arc, which is so good.
I agree with you.
He's one of my favorites. So yeah, that's the type of villains that I like. Either the ones that have nonsensical, just I want to kill, I want to fight, I want to destroy the world, or the I should have never been a villain, but I'm here. Thank you, Camryn. Very cool. Speaking of which, Camryn, let's hear about your villains.
Yeah, what's
first of all, that arc in My Hero sucked, and I'll stand by that.
Well, what makes a good villain then? Go ahead.
What makes a good villain?
This is your topic.
This is my topic. So I'm going to say my example villain is going to be Sephiroth from Final Fantasy VII. You have not played the original or the remake. I also think Sephiroth, a vital point to any villain is a dope ass soundtrack. You gotta have a dope theme if you're a villain. Just saying. Look. All I'm saying is Sephiroth is, for one, super iconic. That doesn't have to make him a good villain, obviously, but let's just do a little bit of fanboying over him. The reveal trailer for him in Smash. Come on.
That was probably one of the coolest reveal trailers, yeah.
But anyway, what makes a good villain? I feel like I'm kind of on the same... I have a couple different archetypes I like in villains. I like for Sephiroth, for example, is he fits a couple of the criteria Erik listed. Starts off war hero, absolute, everyone looks up to him. Some shit happens, finds out that he doesn't really vibe with what his people stand for, and tries to go off and do his own thing, and ultimately becomes a villain because of that. But he goes a little insane. But he's still, he's not a good guy. He's a villain. So I like the ones that have the fall from grace and like they get painted into the villain light. And I also like a villain that has strong ties to the protagonist.
That's always a good one, yeah.
So someone that is able to either manipulate, control, and ultimately just really get inside the head of the protagonist, and just be like one step ahead, always.
The big JRPG trope of the protagonist was my missing father the whole time. What?
Yeah, something like that, or it's like you're just a clone. You're a puppet.
Well, always got a trap card set.
Yeah, always ready to go. So I'm a big fan of villains like that. Yeah. I'm also, I like a villain that has like extreme power level difference between the main character. It's just like, whoa, like so that way you really feel the power gain.
And when they show up, you have no idea what the hell they're gonna do because they have the ability to do whatever they want.
So let's talk about. Speaking of, they can do whatever they want. Another great villain, Homelander, absolutely
amazing.
Yeah, how are we 3 seasons into The Boys?
And he's
still the villain. Still written so great, and you never know what this dude's gonna do when he's on screen. Like, what is up with that? Talk about great writing.
Not to mention great acting. Like
Anthony Stark kills.
Amazing.
Another villain that has like that trap card always set. Liquid Ocelot.
Liquid is another great villain. Especially, Liquid in Metal Gear Solid's really good.
Yeah.
I like the twist of Liquid in Metal Gear 4 when you find out that Liquid it's just like Ocelot like reconditioned himself to act like Liquid. It's not really Liquid. This is him reconditioned, like brain reconditioned into being Liquid. I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that I didn't even think about Liquid. Another great what's quote unquote enemy / villain are the Metal Gears in Metal Gear. Those are pretty sick. Yoko's bullying.
Yeah, I got her. Continue.
Well, we can go into our second subtopic here.
Yeah, so the second subtopic to the villains is just satisfying mobs or enemies to kill in video games.
And your main big example was
my original one when I pitched the idea was Grunts from Halo. Shout out Zane.
Shout out Zane.
We love Halo.
See, I didn't have one until 20 minutes before the podcast.
Thanks, Jimbob.
because of Jimbob. I won't go into any more detail, but that's it. The Locust from Gears of War.
The Wretches.
The Berserkers. Those are. I just like their. They have so
Rest
many
in peace,
different.
the Berserkers. They were really cool in Gears 1, and then they just,
Oh my god! Did that first fight with you had the Hammer of Dawn? in
yeah,
Gears
and
War
then
1?
just never get seen again.
Yeah.
Wait, they're in
I think they're in
4?
I think they're in 3 and 4.
Yeah, because they like get brought back.
I don't think they're in 5.
Wait,
Oh,
yeah,
so-
they,
yeah,
yeah,
they
they're
are.
in
Yeah,
5
yeah.
because there's that big boss battle when it's
Oh,
like on the ice,
Yes.
and you have to
yes.
bring them on the ice so it falls down.
Yeah.
Because it's like the queen of the Berserkers or something.
Yeah.
The Locusts are really sick. Well, just if we're gonna talk about enemy groups too, just the Covenant in general, I think are a really fun enemy fight, enemy force.
Oh yeah.
What's the
So I'm going to bring up a type that's not gaming really, but
Team
more
Rocket?
So no, like more so like just D&D-esque. Just goblins.
I do love
murdering some goblins.
I do love me bullying on some goblins. Anyone that's also played D&D with me knows that I always work them in the bullywugs. They're always worked in. I love my little frog people. I think they're a great alternative to goblins.
Shout out Goblin Slayer, by the way, the anime. Such an amazing good
Goblin
good
Slayer.
one.
Yeah, it really does a good job of kind of just showing like goblins are a very versatile enemy type. You can really make them into whatever you need them to be. Man, I forgot all, I forgot all about D&D options. Completely didn't even think about that. Obviously dragons.
Satisfying. Yeah, I can see that.
Are you not a dragon fan?
No, I can see that being satisfying to kill in a way of like you really just working up to it.
Oh yeah, I guess we're still on that one, yeah. I was just thinking about the really, really dope villains, really dope enemy types.
Eric, how do you feel about what mobs do you like to kill in video games? Or
Man, this has been a really hard one for me to like really think about because like a lot of once again growing up, a lot of games I've played are like JRPGs.
Well, what's like a JRPG enemy that you like facing, like
Yeah.
from a game?
that I like facing? It's weird because as much as I like
The
JRPGs,
Shinra soldiers were really cool.
I gotta say as much as I like JRPGs, a lot of like just the generic mobs are what they are what they are. Like you get your slimes, your starting area enemies.
Tonberry.
Tonberries are probably pretty funny to kill because they're
Yeet.
good. They're good little boys that will stab you and kill you in like one hit.
Yeah, that's the villain that has the immense power over you.
Yeah.
Power gap.
It manipulates the player. Yo, Psycho Mantis? How would we not bring up
Man.
Psycho Mantis?
Yeah, mobs.
Unplug your controller. Plug it into player slot 2.
So you like to play Castlevania?
I'm reading your memory card.
Ah, man. Actually, you know what was now that I think about it, a really good mob that I do like killing. It's not even in a JRPG, but it's like an old school game. The orcs from Spyro 1.
Ooh.
Spyro the Dragon 1, the orcs and nasty all the Norks, I guess is what they're called in that. Man, they're just so funny. Like they'll taunt you, they'll make you chase them around, they'll
Orcs
do a
are
bunch
cool.
of funny stuff, and they make that little like satisfying splat noise when you kill them. They're like they like hit the ground and with a thud, and they make a noise like it's like a grunt of some sort. They're like, bleh. It's something like that.
Wait, give me that again with the echo on there.
I got you. Give me a second. Let me turn up the echo on this microphone. Bleh. I would ask that you go after we're done recording. I'll bring up the sound effect and we'll see how accurate I actually was to that.
We're gonna play it side by side and really see how
It's the
it's
simple
yeah.
things.
I don't know why I just want to bring this up. You said something about orc. I think I might. For the longest time, I thought elves might be my favorite like fantasy race. I think I'm gonna go with orc. I think I really enjoy just orcs in general.
Dang, that's crazy. You should play your orcs from Warhammer 40k with us sometime.
Anyway,
See,
like I'm a big fan of, especially the orcs in World of Warcraft. I think like
they're so good.
like I don't know, like just like the nomadic thrall, like when thralls in control of the horde,
yeah.
like just like
see, I think I might
a simple like tribal life orc camp. I think is just so cool.
I think I might have agreed with you like a few years ago, but like ever since elves have been like getting crazier and crazier in D&D at least, like the Eladrin where they're like super
Sure.
extra.
I did not like that subrace.
Really?
Yep.
Just being extra fairy like. Wow.
The Fae are dope. I love Fae. Anything
I'm-
Fae being
I,
is sick.
I liked your Elegant character, but I'm just not really big
I'm an
into.
enjoyer
I'm not really
of
big into the
elves
Fae.
getting more and more like crazy. Like with I think Spelljammer coming out, it's gonna get crazier. Like with this space elf kind of thing.
I'm trying to play as a flying monkey.
I'm gonna be
Hell
playing
yeah.
this. What am I gonna play? as
Plasmoid.
again? Yeah, this
What,
Plasmoid.
what's the ETA on that again, by the way?
August 16th.
August 16th.
Ooh.
August 16th, and the prologue adventure is already out on D&D Beyond, and I read it, and I'm fucking.
I was about to say I would love to read this stuff when it comes in because I do
Ooh.
want to see if it's something I actually want to play or not.
Yeah, when that gets in, we'll assess.
I'm excited.
Bring it over for a podcast
Yeah.
recording. We can all sit down and read it for a
Yeah,
bit.
we can maybe do a little something, little special episode on the podcast.
A little something.
Little something, maybe not part of the main count, but maybe like something like
A bonus
like
episode
a bonus
or something.
episode. Yeah,
Or we're sitting here making our
9.1.
characters and then
yeah,
playing a bit.
something like that would be. I'd be down for that.
Yeah.
But
Let us know if you'd want to see that.
yeah, if anyone's interested in seeing that, I mean, we're gonna do it anyway, probably. But that's why I said maybe put it outside the main count, so it's not like a main episode, but
Yeah, I'll put in like a side season
yeah,
or something on
yeah,
Spotify.
like Arclight podcast presents.
Yeah, and I'll put in like a different playlist for
Yeah.
the YouTube listeners.
I don't know, we'll assess, but anyway, yeah. So villains.
We did go a
Wait,
little
wait,
off topic there.
did you ever? You said goblins. You said goblins.
Yeah, it's a goblin.
Goblins are good. Pat, did you give us? Yeah, you said.
Yeah, I
you
said
said
locust.
Locust, yeah.
I think we might be.
We actually might have time for the future of gaming, right? Actually, now that
we are at a minute. We're already an hour and 7 minutes, so I think so.
wait,
I think we got a decent amount
I
of
thought we
time.
would talk way more about the villain thing. I mean, what's hold on? What are some other good villains? Because we only talked about video game villains. Let's backtrack a little bit.
Oh man.
I'm looking at this cabinet
Well, we
here
talked about
of
Homelander.
comic. That's true. I'm looking at this video game cabinet here. If we're talking about
Literally
villains,
any Spider-Man villain.
How is no one talking about like Magneto, Venom, and Green Goblin?
Oh my god, that reminds me. Okay, so Newsflash Part 2.
Oh,
Newsflash Part 2 real quick since you brought up the Marvel vs. Capcom cabinet right here. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is free, baby. Not like free to play,
free
but
from jail.
it's free from jail.
It's back.
We freed Marvel vs. Capcom 2. They announced with EVO this weekend, at the starting of EVO.
Were enough dick pics sent?
Probably.
Actually, no. It was probably
You're welcome.
Maximilian, dude. That was really campaigning for that shit to come
Yeah,
out.
he hashtagged that shit. It was
Yeah.
going forever. But yes, they are now officially, much like the Marvel vs. Capcom 1 arcade machine I have here, Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is getting its own arcade machine, same style, same company.
I see.
And it's the first time that game will be available in any aspect since like the PS3, Xbox 360
For
era.
people that aren't aware, that game is like pretty much it's delisted, right?
It's delisted.
Yeah.
You can't buy it again. Yes. So unless you're spending buku bucks for like a physical copy for like the PS2 or the Dreamcast or something, you're not getting it. Now, granted, this machine when it comes out will probably be 500 plus.
Yeah,
easily.
it'll be around that price
yeah.
range.
But man, is it so good to see this happen? Because that means if Marvel and Capcom both were able to license this together, we might see it coming to consoles in the next like year or so. We might even see another Marvel vs. Capcom
Yeah, I
somewhere
was
down the
gonna say,
road.
what are the
I
odds
don't-
on Marvel vs. Capcom 3?
I don't think.
Well, 3's already
Yeah,
out.
3's out.
I don't know anything about fighting games.
Damn.
Technically, we'd be
Jimbob.
looking
You just shot the half point. you went
sent
for
it. I sent
Didn't
it.
even know. Not only is there 3, there's also a 4.
Well, there's.
So,
I really hope they don't count Infinite as 4 because they got rid of all the X-Men and Fox characters. So hopefully they just go ahead and
I could see them just saying Marvel vs. Capcom 4.
is the next one if they make
Yeah.
another one. Yeah. But
I
yes,
think it's pretty likely that we could see that. I mean, not anytime soon, but I wouldn't be surprised, especially if Street Fighter 6 comes out and it sells well.
yeah, we're currently in this big fighting game renaissance
Capcom
right
Renaissance. Well, not even
So-
just fighting game. Capcom
now. Capcom is
Renaissance.
doing so much better than they were.
It was
past
like
few
once they
years.
started using the RE engine. We never even talked about us finishing Resident Evil 2, Pat.
Oh yeah, fuck.
Side tangent. Resident Evil 2 remake, pretty good. Jimbob, check it out. Single player game.
Maybe.
And I've been playing through the Claire second run,
I have not done that.
which is pretty different, but there's some weird like tangents that like don't line up, but it's a story for another day.
Yeah, it's a story from the day. Resident Evil 2 remake. It's fun.
Marvel vs. Capcom 2 machine, pre-orderable September 8th
Sometime.
from Arcade One
Is
Up.
Evo still going on?
It's this weekend, yeah. So it's still.
So we haven't got any like. They won't have the big crazy reveals for game DLC till like
I
maybe
think
tomorrow.
the most current thing I saw is that they showed off the Guilty Gear Strive roadmap for the next like upcoming year, and we're getting like three or four more characters.
There's a rumor that Project L might be there, and something.
It's possible
for another reveal.
It's possible because when they announced it was free to play,
They said
Tom definitely said something about.
He name dropped Evo.
Yeah, he's like,
so.
for those of you going to Evo this weekend, have a good time.
Yeah, it's kind of strange.
I think he's gonna be there, and he'll say something. They'll
Yeah.
drop something like a closed beta sign up or something, probably.
That'd be cool. That'd be really cool.
It might be a little early for that, but we'll see.
Well, yeah,
Depends
you
on
can
how
sign up,
far
but
in.
the beta won't probably be out till like sometime next year.
Yeah, but anyways, yes, Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is a huge deal. I'm so glad we're getting a machine. I'm hoping I can afford it, because that way I can have it matching my Marvel vs. Capcom 1 machine.
What does Wolverine say? Berserker Blade? Berserker Barrage?
Berserker Barrage. Yeah, but yeah, no, it's super dope. It's such a dope thing to see. Arcade 1-Up's really been killing it with their licensing for these like smaller but still dope looking arcade machines. My goal at one point in my life when I'm rolling in the dough a little bit more, I got my own place, not living with a roommate anymore. I would love to have an arcade machine room. That is like my end game goal for like my adult like hobby is I have an arcade room.
That does sound like.
Would this arcade room have a Time Crisis cabinet?
Absolutely it would. It's going to have as many fighting games as I can possibly get my hands on. A bunch of like those like shooter games with the guns, light guns. Actually are.
I would love to own a light
Maybe
gun
like a
cabinet.
racing cabinet or two if I can get my hands on them.
The Halo cabinet.
That'd be cool. I wouldn't
Oh,
even.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I wouldn't even. I don't even care what light gun game I own. I'd just be cool to own one. Actually, I wouldn't really want House of Dead. I think I played enough.
Cabela Hunter.
I put enough House of Dead in my life. But
my big goal for the arcade room, since I'm still going off on this tangent a little bit here, my favorite arcade game of all time growing up was Gauntlet Legends in the arcades.
dude, Gauntlet is sick.
So I will eventually. I don't know if we'll ever see Arcade 1-Up get the rights to make a machine for that. Because that's a really hard one because Midway owns it and stuff like that. I don't even think Midway even exists anymore. They probably do it to some extent, but
I don't think they do.
But Gauntlet Legends was one of the dopest arcade machines of all time. I've actually looked online, and it is possible to. People still have like the actual original machines through companies for sale, but they're like $2,000. But
You got it.
man, if that's like the end game goal for my arcade, that's gonna be like the crown piece of my. Because I'm gonna be like anytime someone comes up and be like, you want to play a little bit of Gauntlet Legends though? Because you could always save your characters on those machines too, and then you could just type in your passcode. You have your character back. You continue where you left off. It was sick.
I think we had Gauntlet on the N64.
That's a good one too. Yeah.
Midway is no longer around.
Yeah.
And that was a fun game. I'd definitely be down.
I actually have Gauntlet Legends on the PlayStation 1. If people would ever like that, I think I have the multi-tap to be. I don't know if the multi-tap works for that one for 4 players. Ooh. The last game they released outside of Gauntlet Slayer Edition was like a remake of the original on PS4. Was Gauntlet Dark Legacy or something? No, Seven Sorrows. Gauntlet Seven Sorrows. I have that one. It was a PS2 game. That one's really fun. That one you could play up to 4 players with multi-tap. And back when the online was still running, you could play it online.
Ooh.
But man, those Gauntlet games are just such dumb like co-op fun when you got a weekend with some friends that want to sit around on the couch and just play something. That's a good time waster. It just doesn't even feel like a waste of time, but next thing you know, the whole day is gone and you're like only like a quarter of the way through the game. Man, it's such good fun. Definitely something I'd love to sit down and play with some boys at some point.
Oh yeah.
But yes, Marvel vs. Capcom 2 machine. Pre-order it if you have the money or the want for it. It's dope. Arcade1up.com, I think, is the website. They're a dope company. I definitely support them wholeheartedly with what they're doing with these machines. I went off on that tangent. We were in the middle of villains. I think we were about done with villains at this point.
We're about to move on to future.
Quick side note about Midway Games. The last game they officially had developed was Wheelman,
Dude.
starring Vin Diesel.
Oh no. Is that what happened to him?
When did that come out?
And that was in 2009.
Oh no.
And let's see here. It's an open world environment game. where you assumedly play as Vin Diesel, who is an undercover CIA agent. And his name is Milo.
Whatever the company is that develops Arc, cancel Arc 2. What happened is they got Vin Diesel for Wheelman, and midway died. Cancel Arc 2 immediately.
Remember when we were watching the Game Awards and that Arc 2 trailer came on Vin Diesel, and people were like, "What the hell is this game? What is this?" And then it just ended up getting revealed to be Arc 2, and everyone was really disappointed.
Yeah.
Yeah, because why do we need an Arc 2?
And why is Vin Diesel in it?
Well, you know why Vin Diesel's in it, because they also announced later, not that same
His
day.
His son really loves it.
Well, his son loves the game, but also they're making a Arc. It's either a series or a movie, right. And he's the main character of it. That's why he's in Arc 2.
Ew.
I don't hate Vin Diesel. I think if he plays a character that is specifically written for Vin Diesel, I think it does pretty well.
Oh yeah,
I think
absolutely.
if Vin Diesel plays Vin Diesel,
yeah.
I think he's good.
Yeah, like
it's like The Rock
or Ryan Reynolds.
The Rock plays one character.
Yeah, it's The
I
Rock.
can see that, yeah.
But the future of gaming.
Do we want to get into that topic?
We could spend a while on this one. What's the count looking like, Jimbob?
Hour 16. I think we could save it for another day.
Because I feel like we could have a whole episode about this topic.
We might want to save it for, like I was saying, possibly episode 12. Because I think we'll go ahead and announce this now, just to be safe, as we're going into this outro now. More than likely, episode 12 will probably be taking a break for not super long, maybe like a week or two after that, just to kind of get some stuff in check. We want to kind of go back, look at a retrospective of all of our episodes.
And stuff like that.
Yeah, maybe looking to getting some better equipment, looking at maybe doing some different segments, looking into maybe doing, like, for the YouTube enjoyers, maybe doing some video segments, as well as maybe just a video version of the podcast instead of just audio with a picture on it. We're going to be looking into a couple different things. Like I said, it's not for another couple episodes, though. We still got episode 10, 11, and 12 before we go into that. So 3 more episodes. Next week, episode 10. Who's not going to be here for that again?
Me and Camryn.
Again.
Yeah.
So,
the double down.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
August is a busy month for me.
We'll have a guest, possibly 2. We'll see what happens. But
yeah, I'd say so. But yeah, so 3 more episodes before we take a mini break. It's not going to be long. Honestly, these first 12 episodes were definitely a trial run, and we want to see what went right, what went wrong, what we can do to fix what went wrong, and improve on what was already good. As Camryn is necking the microphone over there.
We originally started this podcast not to only talk about gaming, we're talk about just everything media, and I think we'll definitely start to branch out into that a lot more. We've talked a lot about gaming.
Yeah, it was just easy pickings when we started off. We just kind of like never got away from that, I think, which is why we've been trying to branch out into other media. Like Camryn brought up today, the villain stuff doesn't just apply to video games. It applies to movies, shows, comics, anything like that. And I think it's just, I think we're definitely going to look into branching out a lot more. Like we said last episode, we'd even be interested in talking about music a little bit if anybody else was interested in hearing that, because we all listen to a fairly diverse amount of music around here. Music appreciators we all are here.
So if you'd ever have a topic you want us to talk about, whether it be video games, whether it be music, whether it be movies, or any kind of media in general, you could always shoot us an email at arclightbrigade.
Yes, at gmail.com.
Or comment on some videos.
Yeah, big question mark into that one. Arclight Brigade.
Well, I was pretty confident, but I didn't want to.
Yes. I was confident as when you said Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
True, that was pretty confident there.
Or when you asked what kind of animal was Crash Bandicoot.
Listen, man.
Yeah,
what kind of animal is Yogi the Bear?
Bro, I don't even know, man.
Dog, I was driving in my car listening to that episode, and you said that, and I was like, hey, yo.
So you were saying ayo to that, but not me eating a sandwich from some random stranger.
Yeah, also that. What was it?
Oh, I forgot about that.
I forgot about the sandwich.
What the hell? Segment. And then he was like, I'll take it from a businessman in a suit. That's the person I would take it from least.
Like, if he's just offering me a sandwich. Look, well, I know we're in the outro, but something like this happened to me. A couple of you were there. a couple of you were there. The one night we were at Wawa.
Oh my God, yes.
And we were at this Wawa where we live, and I'm coming out, and we're going into the car with all our food, and there's this guy at this trash can with this big ass backpack, and this guy walks over to us, and I'm like, uh-oh, what does this other dude want? And he's like, hey, see that over there? And I look around, I look behind him, and there's this dude at this trash can. He unzips this backpack, and I shit you not, all of these raw steaks came flying out of the backpack. I mean, there's tons of frozen steak, just right out. I cannot make this shit up. And I'm sitting here, and I'm talking to him, and he's like, "So you want to get in on that?" And I'm like, "No, unfortunately, I was like, no, I don't want to buy any steak tonight, thanks."
God, I wish I was there. I would have bought their entire stock.
And he was like,
I'll take your entire stuff.
Jimbob would apparently.
he was like, "Are you sure, man?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm sure. I don't want any steak." And he was like, "All right." He's like, "I'm selling it really cheap." And I was like, "Yeah, I definitely don't want it." So
Jimbob, be real with me. Would you actually have bought steak?
The street steak.
Listen, if it was a ribeye, shit. Yeah, I'm in.
that was probably steak they got off of like a meat truck that fell off onto the road, and now they're selling it for like $10.
And I'm getting a steak for $10.
That's
Wild.
gross.
All right. Well.
All right. Well, Jimbob is a freak.
Okay, and once again, as Jimbob mentioned earlier, arclightbrigade@gmail.com is the email if you want to ask us any questions, hit us with any possible topics you would like to hear about.
If you
just
want
a
to
chat in
send
general.
any steaks our way,
Yeah. Please do.
Email me some
Also-
pizza rolls, some pictures of your dog.
No dick pics though. Keep.
Please keep those to yourself.
yeah, send that to my personal.
Yeah, we'll link it below.
along with pictures
Listen,
of steak and
just in
freshly made
a
sandwiches.
nice suit jacket.
Okay.
Business.
All right, mute his mic. Mute his mic. He's done.
Okay. So next up, we're looking at. Once again, we do have a Twitter. I was very not posting anything. I don't even think I posted the last episode to it. Sadly, my brain just was not working with Twitter this week. So you definitely want to hit us up at our @ is also Arclight Brigade. I'll be linking that also in the description below. And
They'll hit us up and
Stay gaming.
Stay gaming.
Stay gaming, Camryn. Stay gaming.
Gaming.